Going back a couple years ago when Ryan Garcia was on the Mike Tyson podcast. And Mike Tyson, he was putting a lot of pressure on Ryan Garcia to make the Gervonta Tank Davis fight. And Mike Tyson, he actually called up Gervonta Tank Davis while Ryan Garcia was on the podcast. Ryan, he promised he was going to fight Gervonta. And then right after this podcast, Ryan took like a year off, saying that he had some type of mental depression, mental breakdown. And then years later, when Ryan Garcia finally fought Gervonta Tank Davis, Mike Tyson, he was there live. Well, you fast forward to present day, and Mike Tyson, he was there live to also watch Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero. Well, Mike Tyson was there with a guy.
Mike Tyson looked at Ryan Garcia as a minus 900 favorite, sat ringside, watched him get dropped and lose to Rolly Romero, and said he saw it coming. 9 months later, Garcia is the WBC welterweight champion of the world. And now the question the entire sport is asking is this: did Tyson's doubt fuel the comeback, or is the belt still not enough to shut Iron Mike up? By the end of this video, you will understand exactly what Tyson said, what he saw ringside, and why this story ends somewhere nobody expected.
Fighting game, Fatal Fury City of
50-50. What about taking a rough rematch?
World-class professional boxing. We'll see you all there. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, let's go.
You clicked because Mike Tyson, live on camera at ringside in Times Square, watched Ryan Garcia fall apart in real time. And the thing is, Tyson said it was coming before a single punch was thrown. Most people covering that Garcia-Romero fight treated Tyson's presence as decoration, a famous face at a big event. Here's the angle they missed. Tyson served as guest analyst for the fight. He went on the Pat McAfee show beforehand and refused to buy the Garcia hype at face value, saying the fight would be close, while the rest of the boxing world had Garcia listed as a minus 900 favorite. When Garcia got dropped in round 2 and lost by unanimous decision, Tyson was the most vindicated man in boxing. In this video, we're covering 3 things. First, what Tyson actually predicted and why almost nobody took it seriously. Second, what Tyson witnessed ringside when Garcia unraveled live on camera. And third, the twist that reframes the entire story. How Ryan Garcia answered Tyson's doubt in the most direct way possible, with a world championship belt.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's grab the guitar.
To understand the weight of Tyson's pre-fight call, you need to know what the situation looked like going in. Garcia returned to boxing in May 2025 after a 1-year suspension from the New York State Athletic Commission. His win over Devin Haney in April 2024, in which he dropped Haney 3 times, had been overturned to a no contest after Garcia tested positive for Ostarine. He had also been expelled from the WBC for racist social media rants. He had admitted to drinking every single day, including on the day of the Haney fight. He went into the Romero fight with an official win column empty since December 2023. And yet Garcia was installed as a minus 900 betting favorite. The boxing media treated his return as a coronation, an easy night to rebuild momentum on the way to a title shot. Mike Tyson did not see it that way. And this is where the story gets complicated. Now, most people covering the story stopped at the scorecards, but there's one thing they all missed. Before Garcia versus Romero, Tyson went on the Pat McAfee show and made a prediction the boxing world collectively laughed off. He said the fight would be close, not a Garcia cruise, not a statement performance, close, in a matchup where Garcia was nearly a 10-to-1 favorite. Where Romero's losses to Gervonta Davis and Isaac Cruz, both by stoppage, had most analysts treating him as a credibility opponent and nothing more. Why does that call matter so much? Because Tyson didn't just say it as a throwaway line. He knew what Garcia had been through. He knew the difference between a fighter who is physically ready and one who is mentally and emotionally ready. And he knew that coming back from a year-long suspension, public humiliation, a drug scandal, and a mental health collapse takes more than a training camp. The tribal boxing audience has seen this before. A fighter looks the part, says all the right things, and then the lights come on, and the body carries the weight of everything the mind won't admit. Tyson was the best at recognizing that weight because he'd carried it himself. But that's not even the most important part of this story. And this is where the real story, the one nobody in mainstream boxing media fully framed, finally comes out. Mike Tyson was not just watching the Garcia-Romero fight. He was there as a guest analyst. He was live on camera when Garcia was dropped by Romero in round 2. He was sitting ringside when the overwhelming favorite, a man who once knocked Haney down 3 times, landed only 66 punches over 12 rounds, according to CompuBox. He watched Garcia get dropped for the 4th time in his last 7 fights, and he watched Romero take a unanimous decision that made the entire boxing world stop. Boxing media immediately called Tyson vindicated. His pre-fight call wasn't a random prediction. It was the diagnosis of a man who had watched Garcia spiral for over a year and correctly read that the fighter stepping into Times Square was not yet the fighter Garcia believed himself to be. This is what Tyson understood that everyone else wanted to skip past. A title shot does not make you elite. A comeback narrative does not make you elite. Winning fights makes you elite. And at that moment in May 2025, Garcia had 1 official win since December 2023. For the boxing audience watching this is the part that cuts deepest, because the sport lets fighters believe their own hype when the people around them should be telling them hard truths. Tyson told the hard truth out loud before the first bell. But here's what nobody is connecting, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Here's the detail that reframes everything we just covered. 9 months after Tyson watched Garcia lose in Times Square, Garcia walked into the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, dropped Mario Barrios in the first 30 seconds, and won 12 rounds of a WBC world title fight so convincingly that even the most skeptical scorecards had it 118-109. He dedicated the win to his father. He called out Shakur Stevenson from the ring, and when he said, "It feels good to finally be a world champion, it's something I've been dreaming of since I was 7 years old," nobody in that arena doubted him. That performance was the direct answer to everything Tyson said. And here is the part nobody is saying out loud. Tyson's doubt wasn't the problem. It was the medicine. When the most credible voice in the history of boxing tells you you haven't proved anything, you have 2 choices. You fall into it or you use it. Garcia used it, and now the man who refused to buy the hype has to watch King Rye defend a world title with his name potentially on the other side of a unification fight. Doubt has a short shelf life when the belt is real. Tyson was right about Garcia in May 2025, but the Ryan Garcia who fought in February